What's packing, cheeseheads? Welcome back to another episode of the What's Packing Sports Show. I am your host, Godchild, the first of his name. And today, man. And then just let it go. Woo-saw, Packers fans. You know what it is. After every Green Bay Packers win or loss, what we do is break it down, and we're going to do the 5 reasons who, what, when, where, and why the Green Bay Packers did exactly that. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers 13-10. But before that, I do want to share something with you guys that I did a little research last night. I was up to 4:30 in the morning. And, of course, a lot of Packers fans I know are going to be sad and feeling depressed today. So I wanted to find something that can maybe help you guys feel a little bit better. And I found this article that said, actually, it's scientifically proven that when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you are actually doing what's called subscriber therapy. When you subscribe to your favorite YouTuber and one of your favorite Packer tubers, it actually has been scientifically proven to help you feel better. Sack that subscription button for me, just like Rashawn Gary sacked the quarterback last night. And I will continue to bring you top quality Green Bay Packers content into your YouTube feed. And as we all know, the first W is who stood out. And so let's start with none other than Mr. Rashawn Gary himself. If you ask my opinion, and you did, that's why you're here. And even if you didn't, you're still here. So here it is. Rashawn Gary became a superstar last night, an absolute superstar. 4 total tackles last night, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for a loss. He was all over the field. He was making plays on first down, second down, third down, fourth down. He was making plays in the running game. Of course, like I said, he was making plays in the passing game. And it wasn't just the sacks or the tackles for a loss. It was the hurries and the pressures that he was getting all night, making Jimmy G uncomfortable and really just being a disruptive force all night on that front seven. Who stood out on offense? Absolutely nobody. To me, no one stood out on offense. The only thing that really stood out to me on offense was how much they sucked last night. I said I was going to be a more positive fan in 2020, but I don't really think there's much positive that you can take from that offensive performance last night, except for the very first drive. The scripted drive, as usual, looked great, but other than that, nobody stood out to me last night. And the next W is what was my biggest takeaway, and I'm going to tell you my biggest takeaway was special teams. Special teams cost us the game. I knew it was possible. I never thought it would quite be like this, but the special teams cost us the game last night. I mean, in the offense, and even the offense, I mean, as bad as they were, it's like, you know, technically they did do enough, I guess you can say. I mean, they were up 10-3. And it's really, if the Packers special teams doesn't give up that punt blocked touchdown, I feel like the Packers would have won this game 10-3, honestly. And the crazy part about it was before the game, I actually tweeted out a Twitter poll. I said, if the Packers win tonight, how would you want them to win? In a blowout, like 45-38, or in a defensive showcase, or whatever the word I use, 10-3. I literally put 10-3, and the Packers were this close to making that like a prophetic tweet. But special teams. Another takeaway was that Aaron Rodgers he wasn't great last night, and we needed him to be great. The next W is when was the turning point? And again, I mean, obviously, the block punt in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. The Packers special teams unit give up a block punt, which is recovered by San Francisco for the touchdown. And really, I mean, it was a tie game up to that point, but then, I mean, they had all the momentum. They literally sucked the life out of Lambeau Field, and it was injected into the veins of the 49ers, and then they took that, and they was able to go down, and they was able to get a field goal and make it 13-10, and the rest is history. Where would I rank this loss? No, I'm sorry. Where would I rank this loss? I mean, honestly, this loss is up there. This loss is that's not usually what we're ranking here, but I mean, since I had a brain fart, I mean, honestly, I think this loss would be top 3 all-time worst Packers losses ever. But Honestly, and I should honestly make a video about that, and I think I will. But where would I rank this performance? Look, and for the first time ever, I'm gonna break down the three phases: offense, special teams, and defense, because I don't want to lump in the defense with the other two units, because they deserve to get like a 9.9. Honestly, the defense deserves like a 9.9 is they gave up points, so I can't give them a 9.9. But I mean, they only allowed 6 points all game, so really they deserve like a 9.5. I would give this defense a 9.5. They were absolutely phenomenal. They played out of their minds. They played out of their bodies last night. It was like an out of body experience watching this defense fly around, tackle, and just make plays and not get bullied. Everybody, all the talking heads, even the ones that picked the Packers to win, they still were saying like, yeah, the Packers should win. They're the number one seed, but I mean, this San Francisco 49ers, they're the more physical team. They're going to come in, they're going to try to push the Packers around and yada, yada, yada. And what happened, man? Jimmy Garoppolo was 11 for 19 for 131 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. I mean, Elijah Mitchell, 53 yards. Deebo Samuel, the great Deebo Samuel, who was supposed to come in here and punk us and take our lunch money. 10 carries, 39 yards, okay? The 49ers, they were able to rush for a collective 105 yards, I think. But, I mean, it took them 29 carries. So, I mean, they were somewhere averaging about, 3-point-something yards a carry. I mean, George Kittle, I mean, the defense didn't give up one touchdown all night. I mean, honestly, they just played incredible. Joe Barry, honestly, like, you deserve all the flowers in the world. My man, I mean, Devondre Campbell and Rashawn Gary and the boys, I mean, y'all did y'all thing, man. So they deserve a round of applause for their performance, and I think it's just honestly, I think it's the greatest performance I've ever seen by this defense. I mean, granted, it didn't come at the biggest stage. It wasn't like it happened in the NFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl, but I mean, the divisional round against really your heated conference rival, the San Francisco 49ers, is like, you can't really ask for more than more than that. The last W is why ultimately the Green Bay Packers lost, and yeah, I think it's 3 reasons. There's 3 reasons why they ultimately lost. First one is obviously the special teams unit, which is probably the worst in the history of the NFL. They absolutely, and it wasn't just like one mistake. It was mistake after mistake after mistake. I mean, even after you give up the block punt touchdown on the very last field goal of the game, they didn't even have 11 men on the field. It's like, bro, honestly, if I was LaFleur, I would have fired that dude at halftime. And I'm like, we're better off with no special teams coordinator at this point. We can't possibly get worse than this. And we all said that last year. And literally, they got worse. They found a way to be worse, dog. I don't know. It's almost comical. The third reason why they lost is Matt LaFleur did not fire the special teams coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like, Matt LaFleur, you are the head coach. So ultimately, everything kind of falls on you and comes back to him. And so it's like, and even though that's not really my philosophy. I feel like coaches coach, players play, and coaches can't always make players do the things they want them to do, no matter how much they coach it. But ultimately, it does come down to Matt LaFleur allowing this to happen. Like, and so, I mean, as the head coach and as the person who's in charge of your staff, you have to do a better job identifying the next special teams coordinator. And honestly, it can't be someone from inside this organization. They have to find a highly qualified candidate from another team to bring in to try to fix this thing. And they need a draft. They need to draft 4 special teams. And the last reason why they lost was Aaron Rodgers. He was not great last night. I mean, 20 for 29. Yeah, that sounds good, but 0 touchdowns. And honestly, when you go back and you look at the tape, and by his own admission, Aaron Rodgers did not hit wide open receivers last night that he should have hit for checkdowns that would have helped sustain drives and move the chains and keep the defense off the field. Because honestly, as great as the defense played, I think they probably could have played better if Aaron Rodgers and the offense did their job and put points on the board, even if it was just 3 points. And I mean, you want 6 and 7, but if you just get, because PAT is really touch. People say 7 points, but honestly, in this NFL, in today's NFL, and with this special teams unit, you can't just include the point after touchdown. Like 6, That's all you really are guaranteed with this Packers team now, because they missed PATs in the regular season. They had field goals blocked. I mean, they had PATs blocked. I mean, all types of this dysfunction on the special team. So Aaron Rodgers, though, he let this team down. He had everything he wanted and then some. He had the cold weather. It started snowing. He had the home field advantage. He had fans in the stands, unlike last year where they only had like 10,000. It was a packed house. I mean, he had a top 5 defensive unit, a top 10 defensive unit, and really but like last night, the Packers defense, I mean, they played better. I mean, I don't know if anybody could have played better than they did last night. Literally, I mean, they literally held them to 6 points on offense. I mean, yes, some people are saying they could have used a more receiver help, but I mean, come on, dude. You had Davante Adams. He was getting double teamed all night. Okay, so that obviously tells you if Davante Adams is being double teamed, that someone else is open, whether it's a running back out the backfield, a tight end, or a receiver across the middle or in the flats. Somebody was open. And on that play that Aaron Rodgers threw to Davante Adams into double coverage late in the fourth quarter, Allen Lazard was wide open running across the middle of the field. And Aaron Rodgers even admitted to it in his press conference that he saw him. He said that he saw him. And yet he still decided to force the ball down the field to Davante Adams. And to me, like, that's everything you need to know about Aaron Rodgers. He's a choker, and he's not the GOAT, and he is not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's actually one of the most overrated quarterbacks of all time. And I absolutely am done with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if he returns. Honestly, I pray he does not return. I pray that he just retires. Honestly, no, fuck that. I don't even want him to retire, because he's not going to do what he did to me and this fan base for the last decade plus and fail and choke in the big moments time after time and then just get to retire and enjoy his life. I want them to trade his fucking ass. I think the Packers should trade Aaron Rodgers and get as much as they can get for him. But honestly, I don't even know what you can get for him, because if I was any of the other 31 teams in the NFL, and really it's not 31, because I mean, of course, there's teams that wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers, like the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs and, you know, the Cincinnati Bengals and, you know, some teams that have good young quarterbacks. But aside from them, there's like 26, 27 other teams that everyone tells me every year that would die to have Aaron Rodgers. But after that performance, watching that performance live last night, like, how could you really think that this guy is the GOAT? But if anybody is willing to trade us 2 or 3 number 1 picks for Aaron Rodgers this offseason, to me, you got to do it. You got to trade him. You got to get as many assets as you can. You got to dump that contract. And probably, honestly, you know, that means there's going to be a lot of turnover on this roster next year. And I'll do a video about that as well. But this is really about the 5 things. And this is really about therapy for the Green Bay Packers fans out there. And for my fan base, not fan base with an N, but fam, my family, football family. Y'all my football family, man. Y'all my fam club. Y'all my fan base. So this is for y'all, man. I'm here for you guys. Vent all you want. Let me know in the comments below. Who are your 5 things? Why do you think the Packers ultimately lost? How much blame does Matt LaFleur get and Aaron Rodgers get and the special teams get? And what do you think is going to happen next year? Are the Packers going to be back in the playoffs? Or you know, let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. Until the next one, go Pack, go. And remember, the Bears and the Green Bay Packers special teams still suck. Peace.